There we are. We're back. Another Slack cast over here, but you know what? We got if no one else is getting on it, we got to get on it. I know Ian's
Absolutely.
sick, Christo's busy, but hey, I mean we're carrying the pod. What's up though, Dave? How you been?
Chilling, man. Chilling. I've been good. I've been good. Even better. Based on the performance that we had against Salernitana. But I've been good, man. Just fresh off the Napoli match. We scheduled this after this match for a reason, just so we could have more of a perspective of where we stand. Which anyway, we still control our destiny. It was always going to be the case. So yeah, I mean, I'm good, man. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, so for some reason, watching that game made me forget that Inter had finally broken out of whatever that was this past week. So I
Um,
mean, it feels good. I'm feeling good. I knew that it was going to come down. You're still going to have to face these two teams like down the stretch. I think now you can pretty much count Napoli out of it, but I mean, you still got Milan down the stretch. But like we said, if you control your own destiny and you're a champion, that you'll get it done. And if you don't, then you're not a champion. So I mean, it's pretty simple. It sounds like coach press conference speak right there, but I mean it's true. Right? It's true.
no, it's pretty simple. But the thing is, you said something that I don't agree with. You said that Napoli. I don't necessarily agree because the thing is, Napoli. Right now we're just 1 point ahead of them, and as for Milan are just 3 points ahead of them. You know, anything can happen, man. We see this already. I was just looking at Milan's schedule. That's the point that I wanted to make. Of course, from an Inter perspective, we both wanted a draw. I'm sure all Inter fans wanted a draw. But if one of them had to win, I probably would have preferred that it was Napoli. Because Milan's schedule is a little softer than theirs. Well, let's say if we compare the three schedules right now, I have Milan's schedule. Let's say their next five matches, they have Empoli, Cagliari, Bologna, and then after that they get Torino, who's a team that hot and cold depending on the day, and then they have Genoa. So that's pretty much of a that's pretty soft to me. And then they finish pretty hard. Their finishing five matches are Lazio, Fiorentina, Hellas Verona, and then they have Atalanta and Sassuolo. So the last six matches are pretty tough matches back to back. Even though it is a week after one another, they still get the rest and stuff. It's still tough matches, a tough stretch of six matches for them to win. I mean, I would expect them to drop points there. Now, let's say we go to Napoli, right? Napoli's schedule. The upcoming matches, they have Hellas Verona next, which is a team, again, it could be hot and cold depending. Udinese, very tough defensively to
Yeah.
break down. And then they get Atalanta, and then they get Fiorentina, and then they get Roma, and then they get Empoli, which should be an easy game for them. And then they get Sassuolo, and then they get Torino, and then Genoa. And they finish with Genoa and Spezia, which should be two easy games. So Napoli's schedule, they're the
It's
toughest. They have
rough.
the toughest schedule. Yeah, it's pretty rough. When and finally, let's go into ours. Right, us we have, of course. Let's not talk about Liverpool. Let's talk about the league.
Yeah.
We have Torino, which is a team that we have to fully respect. They can beat us. They can be hard to beat. We want to get maximum points, so it's not going to be an easy match at all. Followed by Fiorentina, another tough match in my opinion, and then we have Hellas Verona, hot and cold. So those three matches, or
We got
what's the
Juve
word that
before Verona. Juve before Verona. That was a
Yeah,
tongue twister.
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. After Fiorentina, we got Juve. So yeah, those three. Even I'll even add Verona to it because I respect Verona. Um, those four matches are matches that, I mean, of course, we would be okay if we go and draw with Juve, for example. But the other matches, we could easily drop points there as well. But we have to be careful to be fully focused, very well prepared, so we can make sure we get maximum points. And then after that, after Verona, it gets easier in the league. We get Spezia, Roma. We have to respect them. Udinese, we always find a way to beat them, and then we finish with Empoli, Cagliari, and Sampdoria. you know. So ours is not easy, but it also has its pitfalls that we can definitely mess up. You know, the teams that can definitely beat us on their day or whatnot. You know, so that's the reason why I probably would have preferred that Napoli beat Milan today, because I know for a fact, looking at that schedule, that they're gonna drop points at least three of those matches. You know, whereas Milan, if they're serious, they have a pretty manageable schedule for them to manage to beat all of those teams. And the fact that they're getting Ibrahimovic back, who's been their like mental guide or whatever,
Yeah.
that's a good thing for them, you know? So let's see how it turns out. I mean, we could be saying all of this and then they mess around and just draw Empoli next week. You know, they're good for it. So let's see, man.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Like, a good thing about, well, good depending on how you look at it in Serie A. Like, I mean, even the smaller teams now, except for I guess Salernitana, unless you're Milan, like they can still
Hmm.
take points off of you if you're not careful. I'd say Venezia probably not too threatening either. But any of the other guys, I mean, they can like, and like Udinese, like seeing them on a schedule, like that does make me a little uneasy because if Beto shows up, like they're a pretty dangerous team. Same thing with Verona if Simeone shows up. Like, I mean, they have some ifs, but those are some tough teams. But yeah, we really have to be getting, this little mini run right here of Torino, Fiorentina, Juve, Verona. You gotta have at least 10 out of 12 points. Um,
Yeah,
you
yeah, at the
gotta
very
have that
least.
right now.
Yeah,
But enough of looking ahead. We can't count chickens before they hatch too much.
for sure, for sure.
What did you think about the Salernitana match? Was that some sweet relief? A little bit of feeling
No,
like
for
things
sure.
were back to normal.
For sure, man. There's nothing. I mean, looking at like a fan's checklist of what you could hope goes right in the match, everything went right for me that match. Except maybe Correa. I probably would have preferred for Correa to get a goal. He failed to do that. He had two good occasions to get a goal, but he failed. But other than that, man, everything went perfect. You know, Lotaro, he was struggling, he got a hat trick. Zeko, who was struggling as well, he managed to get two. Dumfries, we were talking about him a little bit. He got an assist. Gosens, fresh off injury, 2 minutes, he get an assist. Could have had a goal. You know, I mean, what else could we talk? Barella, we were all on his back. Masterful game. You know, we got nothing to complain about. So that match, I'll raise my hand. Personally, I was one of those guys that was saying that, hey, listen, we need to rest as many starters as we can, because that's a team that we should be able to beat on our second gear, third gear, or whatnot. But I'm very glad that Inzaghi decided to go as strong as possible, and it's like I feel like it's gonna be a confidence boost for those guys. And I mean, we can't. I know we don't want to talk about the Liverpool match too much, but that's something that to me that's gonna have after effects on our season. Is gonna definitely affect how we approach or how we perform in the league as well, depending on how that match goes tomorrow. Not tomorrow, on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, uh, it's one of those. I mean, Liverpool. When we looked at it in the draw, we knew we were probably going to be sitting at about this point where you're down
Yeah.
2-0 on aggregate. Luckily, not more. But you're
Hmm.
still sitting there, and you're like, well, still got to go there. Still got to play a match during a stretch of the season where you need wins in your league. So I don't think they're going to go out with the weakest team, but I think we'll see some more rotation, kind of similar to what we saw, in
Hmm.
slight with Darmian starting over Perisic, even though that was through a little bit of injury for Perisic. But I mean, I
Uh-huh.
could see them. I could see Darmian maybe starting on the right, um, Perisic probably starting on the left. Throw in D'Ambrosio in the back, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, I wouldn't start.
Really?
I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't go too. I wouldn't go too hard in this match.
So you
I don't know.
is
Look,
that what you're expecting though, or is that what you would do personally?
that's what I would do personally, because like I'm expecting, I mean, I'm expecting Inzaghi, who he knows his team, he knows his 11. I expect him to throw out his 11 that he trusts, and he's gonna be like, all right, like this is what it is. I mean, Barella, of course, can't play; he's still suspended. So
Uh-huh.
hopefully, like a week off after finally figuring it out, like that'll be good. He'll be ready for Torino, but yeah, I hope that there's rotation, but I could definitely see there not being.
Yeah. No, personally, I feel like there's gonna be our strongest available 11. There's gonna be Dumfries, Perisic. it's gonna be Vidal instead of Barella, and then that's probably gonna be the only change. And he's gonna try. He's gonna go for it. Now, of course, like when you think about it, the first match against Liverpool, if that one shot from Hakan goes in instead of hitting the crossbar, we're talking something completely different. So if let's say we get that same little period we got in the first game, we get that same little period where we dominated, we created a couple chances, and instead we managed to score, and we go into halftime up 1-0, then listen, everybody's going to be changing thoughts. So I mean, at the end of the day, we support Inter. We don't support a mid-table team. So no matter what's going on, our guys are tired. We want to be out so we could focus on the league. We're behind right now, but at the end of the day, we expect the team to give it its all and go in there really believing that they have a chance of coming back. So that's what I expect to see, and I also expect us to fall short. But hopefully, it is a valiant enough effort that gives us a boost in the league, so it could be like, okay, you know what, this is the level we could be in. We played Liverpool very close. We could just pretty much go and walk this league, because we need more confidence in the league.
Yeah, I mean, stranger things have happened at Anfield in the Champions League. I mean, you think for Liverpool the comeback against Barcelona, you think against them. Not Barcelona. Atletico Madrid, their comeback at Anfield in a couple of years ago. Like, I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it,
yeah.
anything can happen.
No, for
But
sure.
yeah, I mean, we definitely would rather have the results in the league, because I also worry, like, what if we do go through in the Champions League and then you're still fighting on those three fronts? You still have another derby against Milan in the Copa, and then you have two more
Mhm.
matches against God knows who. I mean, it could be Bayern, it could be, have your pick. I mean, even Chelsea, that would be
Yeah.
fun, but I
No,
don't
I
know.
mean, honestly, like I thought about that as well, and I felt like okay, it would be cool because we got Gosens in the rotation now, we got Correa back in the rotation, and eventually I expect Caicedo to be serviceable at some point. So I feel like we got some players into the rotation that even if we do have to get lucky and go through in the quarterfinals, then we'd be okay. And because it's like what it would probably come in like in April or something like that,
Yeah,
or
yeah, it
so
would.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it would be April at some point. I know the derby with Milan is scheduled for the
it's an
20th, so it would probably be like the week before or week after. I'm not
before that.
entirely sure the
Yeah,
Champions League
yeah.
schedule. I'm not used to looking that deep into the Champions League and as
Mm.
anything but a neutral. So I mean, yeah,
But nah. Let's keep our feet on the ground, bro. Like it's very very unlikely. Um, I feel like realistically, the best thing we could hope right now is like a valiant effort. Like I would definitely go for a match where we're up 1-0 and then we're trying to score a goal up into the last minute or whatever, or we fail to do it, or they manage to score and then it ends 1-1, something like that.
yeah,
Something that you know what we could keep our chin up and just walk off and just go handle business in the domestic leagues. But I don't want it to be something like Inzaghi already puts half a team in there and then they walk all over us and we're like getting memed all over the internet.
yeah. I mean, we got a pretty generous. It's kind of funny to say because of how the schedule has been, to us at least in 2022. But it's a pretty decent little run that Serie A put together for us with this Liverpool match. Of course, sandwiched in the middle of it. We played Salernitana on Friday, of course. Then
Uh-huh.
Liverpool on Tuesday. So you're not doing like Saturday, Tuesday, or like Saturday,
Yeah, yeah,
Monday,
yeah.
Friday,
And then
Friday
and then
to
all the way
Tuesday.
Sunday, right?
Yeah, and then Sunday against Torino. So it's
Yeah.
a decent little bit of spacing, and yeah, I agree. If like you can get even a draw out of that, I think the guys
Mhm.
have their heads held high. You're bringing Barella back in, maybe Gosens could even start against Torino. Like,
Yes.
um, I would hope to see something like that coming up.
No, for
But
sure.
just everything that happened in the Salernitana match is like the only reason I'm even taking into this like maybe idea, because I mean, a Lautaro hat trick, he could have had like 4 or 5. If we're being honest, like he spoiled what would have been like Barella's best assist when he
Yep.
like danced past two guys and then struck
Well,
his own plant foot.
well, we could say he spoiled two of Burley's best assists. The one that you mentioned, where he just dribbled two guys and then pretty much put it on the platter, and he failed to even contact the ball, and then that ball over the top
Oh
where he
yeah,
lets it
yeah,
bounce and then puts it on puts it on a crossbar. That was a beautiful ball. So that's a form that I'm happy to see Barella in. And you know what? It's very important after a performance like that to see what the coaches are saying. And Faris was saying, like the assistant, he was saying that they pretty much went back and made it a point to play the way they were playing in the beginning of the season. Play with the ball on the feet, even if they're pressing Brozo, you do what you have to do. The rest of the team
Yeah.
has to help. He mentioned that and all that, and that's what we saw. And he said that the last couple of matches where we were pretty much doing the long ball and stuff, it's like the team were pretty much they were taking the easy way out. They were pretty much trying to bail each other out. When they see they get pressed, they just tried the long ball, whereas they're supposed to be activating each other and helping each other out. So that's a good thing. I see that, even if we yap about it on the chat all the time, the coaches see it and then they fix it. So I feel pretty confident going forward, man. Like Torino just played today, right? I think they drew
Uh,
0-0 or 1-1.
Let me look. I wish we had Ian right now. Ian, if you're in the chat right now, I miss you. I could use the quick fingers on the on the
For real.
on the stats right now. Schedule. I'm typing in one hand. I got coffee in my hand. I should put that down. Why is it not coming up for me?
What are we
Google in
looking
the
for again?
U.S.
I'm
for
sorry.
you, I guess. Torino's result today. Okay, I've got it. Yeah, they drew with Bologna 0-0 today. That
Yeah, no, yeah.
seems very drab. Let's see. Yeah, 13 shots, 2 on target. Doesn't look like it was very much going on in that one. I think that was one of the earlier matches today. I missed that one, but
Yeah.
not missing too much. But I mean, we know that Juric is one of the best coaches in the league. He's given Inter
Uh-huh.
problems before. He could always give Inter problems, so we gotta be careful with
Yeah.
him. I mean, Bremer is going to be there. We're linked to him, so of course he's going to have a cracking game. Um,
Yeah.
but like everything just went so well in that Salernitana match. Like we've talked about Barella. We talked like you mentioned like Ferris saying that the team really reverted back to a lot of what was going right in the beginning of the season. And I
Hmm.
noticed that a lot with Chalanolu getting between the lines. I felt like he was getting
Yes.
forward more. He hadn't been doing that as much recently. And that takes the pressure off of a guy like Barella who can play his own game. And when Chalanolu's doing his part, Brozovic had a decent game. I think we also did benefit. I think we mentioned it. I can't remember if we mentioned this or if I was listening to Studio Inter or something else, where
Mm.
Salernitana don't press. I think you did say that last week,
Yeah.
but they didn't press. So like a
Hmm.
lot of time on the ball, a lot of time to get your ideas straight. I saw a lot of the triangles coming back. Like it was all really positive.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna be fake humble. I like to pat myself on the back. Like exactly what I was saying last week. This is the perfect team that we would have been playing in this situation where we were pretty much second guessing everything. We weren't sure of ourselves. They were okay with sitting back. The only thing that they did is they still played a high defensive line because they know Deco can beat them with pace, but they were not pressing us. They were not chasing Brozovic all the way into Handanovic's goal, so he can't receive the ball and stuff like that. So we saw the best example could be on both Barella assists. He get plenty of time on the ball to pick Lotaro out, and then it happened. So it was a perfect match, and I'm glad it happened. And we're gonna be playing Juric. Juric is a guy that you don't know what he's gonna give you. We know he's gonna be solid defensively. Sometimes they press high, sometimes they don't. So I don't know what he's going to do, but you know that they're gonna be well prepared, man. So I don't know. I don't feel too
Yeah.
confident, but then again, the fact that our guys are getting their form back, we should take care of business.
God, go and it's at Torino this match that we're talking about, and I don't want to dash any
Yeah.
positivity, but I can remember plenty of times in like peak banter era where we're still chasing top four around March. Like it's still like an idea. Like we're like, I remember the Pioli season where he had like the list of all the matches left and was like, if we win all of these, we're in the Champions League. And I think that poster probably stayed up 2 weeks until we lost to Torino in Turin, and it was about mid March. So I mean, March in Turin is where inter seasons go to die sometimes. So
For
yeah,
real.
it's gonna be tough.
I mean, we were saying that we're not gonna be fear mongering and stuff. So let's not out of it, man. You know what? Let's hope that those guys go and show their ass in infield, and then they ride that same horse. I mean, I'm cool. I'll take a 1-0 or whatever the same way against Torino. Because one thing, the fact that they do have Bremer, they do tend to sit back and defend as well. So we will get that opportunity. So hopefully they don't press us too much or they don't press us too successfully. And then we do get the same thing. We get time on the ball to pick out passes and try to pick him out, try to break him down. In which case I think we will definitely.
Yeah, on the bright side, I mean, we play with two strikers. So when there is one big defender to watch out for, I mean, like
Mhm.
Bremer, I mean, he'll probably mark Dzeko out, but that means
Yeah,
Lautaro better be in his bag again for a couple more goals
yeah,
because
yeah. I don't know who they play regularly, but that game against Juve, they were partnering Bremer with Gigi and Rodriguez, who's not even a center back. So if it's one of
yeah,
those guys, Lautaro better be able to wiggle his way and catch a goal.
yeah. Looking at their match today, they
Mhm.
played. It was the same back three you just mentioned. Then they had Sinho,
Mhm.
Ricci, Mandragora, and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the left back's name. If anyone knows it, yeah, more power to you. I'm sorry,
I'm
I'm
looking
not
at it
doing that
right
to myself.
now.
And then they play two attacking mids, so I mean they may be able to overload the midfield a bit, but I mean these guys aren't like other than I would say maybe Pobega and Ricci,
Mhm.
like not too worried about any of the other midfielders, Mandragora, Brecalo, like those are
Yeah.
okay Serie A guys, but I mean they shouldn't be marking Inter out of a match. Like it's not a
No,
it's not a Sassuolo midfield or anything like that.
no, we should be okay. No, we definitely should be okay. And it's the same thing. The same point applies. No disrespect to them. When you look at the team, you don't see the guy that's really gonna hurt you. Really, Belotti. I mean, if he's gonna work his ass off, but usually, unless he gets lucky or something bounces his way, he doesn't bother a top defender too much. When you like you mentioned Sassuolo, when you looked at Sassuolo, we had a bunch of talents. Like we have Raspadori, we had Scamacca, you had Berardi, Traore. So you see where they would hurt us, and effectively, those guys are the guys that hurt us. Looking at the Torino team right now, I don't see anybody really that I could be like, yo, this guy's in form. He's gonna kill us, except for probably Bremer. Um, it's okay if he takes out Zeko, but we should definitely find a way to figure out a way to score with the rest of the players, and we will. I think we will.
Yeah, a pretty good question. I think you'll enjoy this one. Would
Mm.
you start Correa and Gosens in this match, or are you going Lautaro, Dzeko, and then what? Yeah, what are you gonna do on the left?
Are you talking about Torino?
Yes, for Torino. I think we pretty much know what's gonna. The Liverpool is probably gonna be strongest 11. So
Yeah. No, I'll go strongest 11 as well. Honestly, for Liverpool, so I'd go Zeko and Lautaro. I would try to give Korea a good 30 minutes after Bremer roughs up Zeko a bit. Hopefully he can use his pace. But yeah, definitely I'd go strongest 11. I wouldn't play around with that. Like again, like you mentioned, it's an away match. It's a team that they're gonna be well coached. They're gonna be studying. They're gonna be rested. They're more rested than we are. So all those things are things that should go into consideration. So we got to take the match very seriously, as if we were going to be playing Milan or Napoli in a top three match. That's the mentality I'd like to have the guys, to see the guys have. So hopefully they do have it. They don't treat it as if, oh yeah, that's Torino. Whether they're 11th, 12th on the table,
yeah.
we definitely respect it for sure. Especially because of the reason today. I mean
Ooh.
the result today.
And looking at their form is actually like pretty dire right now. 3 losses and 2 draws in their last 5. So
Oh
this
yeah, I'm
might
looking
be
at
the
it too.
best time to catch them. I mean, because
Oh, for
when
sure, for sure.
yeah, when a Juric team is in form, like I mean, even if it's not the most standout names, I mean, we saw the names he made at Verona.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if they're not doing well, I see like Milinkovic Savic, their goalkeeper, not the other one, is of course
Yeah,
out.
right.
Faris
Yeah,
is out. Pratt is out. So I mean, well, they were out for the match today, and if they're out, those are big misses. That's why they're starting
yeah.
guys
No,
like
for sure.
Mandragora. So
Okay, no, for sure. Like, yeah, you definitely made me feel better because I didn't even look at their form. Look at that. Like, they lost to Cagliari, they lost to Venezia. Those are two teams that are pretty much fighting for for relegation. And they lost to Udinese, who's also a team that's at the bottom 15, lower than 15 on the table. So yeah, their form is not too impressive. We should definitely take care of that.
yeah, yeah. Looking at stats and looking at everything, I am a little bit more confident now.
Uh,
It but I just can't get enough. I mentioned Gosens. I can't. I somehow want to bring him up again. Like
oh
that
yeah,
that
let's talk
little
Wilsons.
that little appearance, those 28 minutes, however many,
Yeah.
that was the most excited I've been for 28 minutes of Inter in the past like month and a half, 2 months. I was really excited and I loved what I saw. I'm sure you agree, but I'm sure you have some other takes on it too. How did you feel about it?
No, man, you spot on. That's exactly how I felt. And honestly, it's like I don't. It's like after I saw it, I'm at a point where I'm like, yo, I don't even want them to play him against Liverpool. Just let him rest or whatever, so we could play him against Torino. That's how I'm feeling because we saw like a peak of what this guy can be, not what this guy can be, of what this guy is. Because we see him against Atalanta. Well, playing for Atalanta. That's what he is. So like real quick. The ball came to him. He knew exactly where Dzeko was. Pinpoint pass to Dzeko for the first assist. Goal. Second time, he was battling. The ball fell to him. He didn't think about it. Good volley. Good save by the keeper. Okay, that could have been a goal. And then at the end of the game as well, he did one where he dribbled back. He cut it back on his right foot actually, and then he had another shot at Sepe that blocked it again. So that's a guy that when as he gets fit and he becomes the guy that could go up and down on the regular. Like we're gonna have a weapon, man. And I don't know, like I don't know, we're gonna have a beautiful problem because Perisic is also in such a great form that it's like I'm thinking to myself, well, so what happens when Gosens reaches full fitness? Like, do we just bench Perisic? I don't know. That's a beautiful problem that for Inzaghi to have. Hopefully, he can work out some kind of 3-4-3, where he has Perisic as a left midfielder, and then he still has Gosens as a left wing back. Probably play one of the attackers, probably Lautaro in the middle or Dzeko in the middle. That way, he could rest one of those guys. I mean, I'm just throwing things in the air right now, trying to find ways to have both of those guys on the pitch because we're
Yeah,
very
is there a
blessed
way
right
to play with two wing backs on the left? Is that
now.
possible? Can we get some kind
yeah,
of new
we
tactic?
yeah we gotta invent
Inverted,
some kind of formation.
outverted wingers, backs, something. I don't know. Yeah, more of both of them would be amazing for this team because they do bring stuff like two aspects that are so different. Like Perisic, of course, he can do both. I mean, he can go out wide and stretch the pitch, get those crosses in. I mean, but we know
Mhm.
he's got two dominant feet. So I mean, he can cut in, he can get his shot, everything. But I feel like Gosens is a little bit more dynamic in that way. Like he will
Mhm.
get into the box more often, and he is a little stronger in the air. So I feel like that is something that he brings that this team really needs. Like, and you have
Yeah.
two absolute tanks as wingbacks. I mean, aerially, like speed wise, if you have Gosens and then you have Dumfries on the right, because I saw
Mhm.
like early in the match, before when it was still Darmian on the left,
Mhm.
Dumfries broke the line, got forward, and the only other
Yeah.
guy in with him was Darmian on the left, and I was just sitting there. I was like, man, what if that
Goal
was
sense.
right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Like,
No. Yeah. For sure. No. And for sure, you're right. It's like those guys. You could tell they haven't really had much practice together. They don't know how to look for each other yet. When it does get to a point where Dumfries knows that okay, Gosen is gonna make that run. Let me just lob it up there. The odds of the opposing right back being able to jump with Gosens is really nil. So and looking at the guy on the pitch, the guy is a unit, man. Big, muscular guy. Like, nah, we definitely got a player. I'm to a point where I'm telling you where I'm like, yo, I don't even want to see this guy play against Liverpool unless it's something that we're up 1-0 and we have a palpable chance in the game. I don't want us risking him because I want to see him fresh for Torino and like you mentioned, possibly see him get the start. Why not?
Yeah, yeah, because I think after we'd hit about 4 goals, I think about after the fourth one, I was just watching the whole team and I was like, anytime anyone, went down or pulled up or slowed down, and I was like, oh God, just don't be injured. Like that is the
Injured,
last thing
yeah,
we need right
yeah,
now. Like if
yeah.
everyone makes it to the end of the match, we'll be good. And they did, and I was really worried, but thank God, like no one got injured. Hopefully, it stays that way. Like we really need the whole squad because now the depth that everyone said that Inter had at the beginning of the season is starting to look like that depth again. When you
Hmm.
have Gosens, you have Alexis still as a super sub that he can do a job. Like no one's gonna dispute that when he comes on in the second half, and then you have
Hmm.
Correa back. I mean, even though he didn't score, he offered something very different, and
No,
that
for
does keep
sure,
defenses honest. I mean, when you have a
for
guy that
sure.
can run at you like that, your defensive shape changes, and that opens up more space for other players. That was something we were missing a lot. So, I
Hmm.
mean, there are a lot of interesting possibilities with this team. You could even try to go back to like the 3-5-1-1 again. I mean, if you really need
No,
to switch things up.
absolutely, exactly. I agree. And like you said, even if Torreira came in, and we all know he's been out for a while, he's still a little rusty. He's still playing himself back into shape. We saw what he brings to the table. I think he had one movement with Vidal where he just pointed, and Vidal just puts it in space for him, and he just caught up to it. Like, wow, that was so refreshing. I mean, he's failed. That's the one that he tried to put it in the far post, but he missed it.
Yeah, and
I'm
it
not sure if
just
you
it just
remember.
curved away from the post. Yeah, that one was
Exactly, curved
close.
away from the post. But still, it's like you see the movement, you see what a little pace does for you, and I just hope that he manages to still continue to play himself into shape, because we're gonna need every single player for the long run. Even Demarco, like we need
Yeah,
to find a way to include everybody because every player is gonna be all hands on deck. Because last year around the same time last year we were already like pretty much walking the league, I think. So now we're pretty much we have to gear up for a battle. It looks like it's gonna go down the line. So y'all better like get your mental health straight. Get your anxiety pills ready. We're gonna be on along for a big roller coaster ride, man.
yeah, it's gonna be a dogfight. But looking at the stats for Korea in that match, because I know a lot of people are gonna like not agree with us and probably not be too happy with what his showing was, and I can see why. I mean,
Uh,
he did something that we really need in this team. He was 2 of 2 on dribbles, but he also had 2 big chances missed. So I mean,
Missed, yeah,
yeah, but yeah, like you said, he's still playing his way back into form. You never know. So I
yeah,
mean, it could be it could be the start of like the best run of his career. Who knows?
yeah. You want to hit up the comments? I see them boys are
Yeah,
really.
yeah, they've been popping off, so I need to get to a couple of these. Oh my god, yeah. I'll start at the top. Mattia, before we even got on, I saw this when I hopped in. He said Napoli can't do anything right, can they? And I think you're absolutely correct. But when you look at who the manager is there, I mean, this is about this is about his ceiling. So I mean, it is what it is. Uh,
Yeah,
but
I mean, I
like you,
feel bad. I feel bad for them a little bit because their fans are they really believe, And again, I'm not saying I feel bad for them like they're out of it because I believe they're still in it, and I wouldn't be surprised if both Inter and Milan manage to mess up this weekend because we saw both of them are capable of it. So I don't know, but I feel bad because they were really banking. A lot of them were putting a lot on this match. Like, yeah, once we win this is what's gonna propel us to the Scudetto and all that stuff. And the fact that they lost it like that is like it could be heartbreaking. I bet.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we've seen they got done the same way we got done by Milan. Just 1 second of Giroud in the right place at the right time, and I
Yeah,
mean, a true
yeah,
striker's touch. Like whatever we have to say
yeah.
about that guy because he plays for Milan, it's the same reason we wanted him for multiple years when we were linked with him. Like this
No, for
guy,
sure, for sure.
he gets himself there. It doesn't matter how slow he is, how old he is. He gets himself there, and when you're in those positions, things like
No,
that can happen.
but it sucks though. It sucks when you can see when you lose to a goal like that. It's not like you see Milan were pretty much building up play, they playing their stuff that they practice on the training ground, and then like that work. It's literally a guy that pretty much shithoused a shot that was going well wide, and then Giroud just happened to be wily enough to get himself back on side. That's why you got to give him credit. He got himself back on side and then just stuck a leg out to score that goal. It sucks. Those goals sting, especially when you saw that Napoli were trying to play their stuff. They're trying to play their game, And we have to mention it as well. I personally feel like they deserve the penalty, and the fact that they didn't even look at it is kind of disappointing. And I'm sure that we're gonna see a lot of it on Twitter. I can't wait to get on to see who's talking about it because people are gonna bring it up. But yeah, they could feel like they were hard done by, but at the end of the day, Milan did what they had to do. They got the win. Now, I mean, they're on top. It looks like it. It looks like they're on top, but we still have the match in hand. Our destiny's still in our hands.
Yeah, yeah, like we said at the top of the show, if you're a champion and you have, if your destiny's in your own hands, and you're a champion, you're gonna get to where you want to be at the end of the season. You're gonna get those 3 points of that game in hand, and you're gonna take care of business down the stretch. I mean, we've seen Milan, like, even though they won this match today, they have not been in great form. I mean, draws
No,
against Salernitana and Udinese. Like, if you're drawing against those guys, you can lose out to any team on any day. I mean, they lost to Spezia back in January.
yeah, I
Like,
mean, and they could draw the Empoli, and
yeah,
they could
yeah,
draw the
that Empoli team's nothing to put your nose up at. And I mean, Empoli at San Siro, they don't get scared of San Siro. I mean, in the
yeah
Copa, played Inter really close. Of course, we can all think back to the end of the 2018 season, 18 or 19, the last match.
19.
Yeah, yeah, last
Yeah,
match of the season. That team,
they had Traore and all that stuff, and all them guys. They
yeah,
had Benacer, yeah.
yeah, that team
No,
that
but
almost had us miss out on Champions League.
for sure. But the thing is with Milan, man, when you watch them, even today, like I've been watching them very closely. I watched them very closely against us and all the matches. It seems like their game plan offensively is pretty much freestyling with Theo and Leao on that left hand side. They just pretty much have them play the two man game, overlap, try to combine with each other and see if they can make something happen. And once a team figure out to shut that down, then I feel like they become pretty regular. And I mean they're getting Ibrahimovic back, so I don't know what kind of form he's gonna be in, but that's a good help for them. But with Giroud's not a. You see the kind of goals he scored. So I don't know. I'm
And I
gonna be
mean,
very, very, very intrigued to see how they play Empoli. But go ahead,
and
bro.
yeah, to me, like, I look at Giroud and, like, I mean, the goal he scored today, he probably had to go get stitches after the match, that gash that he had in the first half. And then, I mean,
Yeah.
he went back down. I don't know if it was the same ankle or went down on the other ankle late in the match. So, I mean,
Hmm.
you can't, like we've seen, I mean, with Inter, you can't rely on these guys that are that old and ride them that hard for an entire season. Like, you
Yeah.
either, like, they have two of, like, the oldest strikers in Serie A. So, I mean, uh, Ibrahimovic can't stay fit for what, more than 2 matches. Giroud looks like he's human now. So anything can happen. I mean, these guys. Sorry, excuse me. But could at any point just stop firing. I mean, if Leao and Teo have bad days, I mean, where's your creation at? I mean, is it coming from deep in the midfield? I mean, sometimes, but like, that's if you have these two guys, like you said, that are freestyling. If they have off days, like, where are your goals coming from? You got to get the
Yeah.
lucky goals, like you get today. I don't want to call them lucky. I mean, they're still a good team, but you get the low XG chance goals, and you can't
Yeah. I
outperform
mean,
that forever.
actually, can you pull that up? I'm very curious for this match, like what the XGs were for the Napoli and Milan match.
Yeah,
Um.
luckily there's an account now on Twitter that has, like, all the Serie A XG.
Yeah. Yeah. I follow
And
it. I just
yeah,
started following them.
yeah, it's great. I mean, it's a very new account, but I mean, like, for the longest time, you couldn't find XG for Serie A matches. So whoever runs that, I mean, probably not listening, but if you are, like, thanks for that.
Thank you. Thank
But
you.
yeah, I've got it right here, and I mean, it has Milan at a goal for XG. I don't know if that was the chance. But okay, so
Mhm.
yeah, they were right there on their XG. Napoli 0.38. I mean, that's terrible. That is not.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's odd. Because you would have thought that watching the match that it kind of feels like Napoli created more, but I guess the chances they created were pretty much half chances, and you had Osimhen pretty much taking shots from all types of angles where you know for sure he's not gonna trouble the goalkeeper from there. So I guess that's probably what it is. But hey, good kudos to Milan, man. They were solid defensively. I can't really remember many times that the Napoli created clear cut chances, by going through their defenses. But other than the penalty, I think they did very well defensively.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, keeping Osimhen out of a match is a big deal. For
Nah, for sure.
Milan, like that's very respectable. But let's see what other we got comments. Benjamin asking why only two today. Ian, as you see him in the comments right here. He didn't say it, but yeah, he's under the weather. Christo's been busy with work and life because he has a life outside of us. Go figure. But yeah, who else we got out here? Mattia saying that Napoli's out of the race. Ian agreed. Um, but Benjamin doesn't agree. He says that he thinks it's good that Napoli lost because they have the lightest load with no Europe, no Coppa Italia. So one match a
That's
week.
true.
But I mean, Milan to me are basically on one match a week. Like one match against us, one extra match. Like that's not
Yeah.
going to go too far. Um,
Yeah,
so
and even that, it's not something that I feel like it's worth mentioning too much because um tomorrow, well, in 2 days, we're gonna be right back to being the same way, one match a week, except for that one match we're gonna have to play in April. So it's not even something we're looking into right now. So I feel like we're at the point of the season where very soon is gonna be is gonna be down to every team playing one match a week. So it's not really an advantage for a team or a disadvantage for any team.
yeah, I mean at the end of it, I mean I think well Napoli went out. They played two matches in Europe, so that they've played basically the same amount of as us. They just happened to go out a week earlier. Milan are out.
Before, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we've had two more matches than Milan. Napoli have had two more matches than Milan, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not really what's
yeah,
gonna decide it at this point. It really just is if you can grind out those results in the Serie A like you need to.
yeah.
I think we have Figo making another shopping list on what he wants: mug, a hoodie, Lautaro shirt. Yeah, so I'll get another box.
Oh,
We got to
yeah,
hit the UPS again this week.
for the person that mentioned the Lotaro shirt, yeah, of course. I was saying that I'm gonna try to make a statement with all my shirts. Of course, a hat trick hero. So I mean, that's an easy pick right there. Lotaro deserves to be in the background today, and I'm happy he was able to get back on the score sheet. But I still want Raspadori instead of him.
Yeah, got to stay true to the agendas, right?
Hey man, I stay true to my agendas, man, always.
Let's see what else we got. Benjamin said we want Ian. I don't know if this is an Ian burner, maybe.
Yeah,
Hyping
yeah. I'm st-
himself
I'm
up.
I'm,
Come
I'm
on
starting
now.
to believe it.
What else we got? Somebody said my camera's not HD. Yeah, I've got a little icon in my corner right here. It says my connection's bad. I don't know why. It's just kind of goes. I was very on and off. I have decent
Yeah, it
Wi-Fi,
goes in
but
and out. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what's on there. But sorry. If you're listening, yeah, it was probably a little bit better. Yeah, just if you're listening, just picture me as a bunch of pixels. Um, let's see. Some Fern says that Perisic is a forward should be worth a shot. I think that's kind of what you were alluding to, using him as an extra midfielder or as a winger. I mean, we've seen him on the wing plenty. He can do it. I'm sure he wouldn't say no. Because there were plenty of people who didn't think he'd even be a wing back, and here we are, like being like, how do we get this guy in the team as a wing back when we have two great left wing backs? Um,
You're right.
yeah, that's pretty much for the comments. Now, if anybody has any questions, yeah, just drop them in. I think we're a little short on time or short on talking points right now. We'll wrap it up here in a few. I know Dave, you got to get out of here. Um,
Yes, sir.
yeah. But I think we've
And
pretty much.
Figo, no, Figo. I never sent Figo the shirt. Somebody's asking if I sent Figo the shirt. Figo can ask all he wants. Maybe the day that we actually win a Champions League, I'll send Figo any shirt out of my collection that he wants. Figo, you could record this. You can record this right now. Like I pledge it. The day that we win the Champions League, I'll just pull out all my shirts and you get your pick, and I'll ship it to you. So you could sign it, signed, sealed, delivered.
Is that just you being confident that a Serie A team's not going to win Champions League anytime soon?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, the way that I value my jerseys, I want it if I'm gonna lose one of them. I want it to be for something that's gonna be worth it. So Champions League would be worth it for me.
Yeah, fair, fair. Oh, okay. I got this. I got two comments I want to get to now. Motion here, or
Hmm.
Mosen, if I pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry. My southern accent really fucks my shit up sometimes. But he asked, "What do you think about Agume?" I know he had a really good performance this weekend, and he's been putting in consistently good performances for
Hmm.
Brest. Yeah, Stad Brest.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look it up actually. I'm gonna look up his stats recently. But I mean, the more I see, like he keeps coming across my timeline. I keep seeing these like good performances he's
yeah,
putting in. I mean, he's starting to look like a little Brozovic out there. I mean, it's League On. I mean, it's a little more open league, but I mean,
yeah. That's what I
if
was
you're
gonna
good, you're
mention.
good. Ball doesn't lie. What do you think?
I mean, I've been very impressed with what I've seen from him. Absolutely. He looks at home, and somebody mentioned it as well. Like he's one of the leaders of that team. You know, after the match in the locker room, he was the one leading the chant and stuff like that. You want to see that. We know he's the captain at the youth level, so that means that he does have the character for it. The few times that I have tuned in to watch him and Satriano, though, I do still see the couple of things that he was criticized for, like the laziness off ball. Sometimes he doesn't track back when he needs to and stuff like that, and you could tell that tactically he's still not there. You know, like especially if you want to compare it to Brozovic. Brozovic is a guy that pretty much plays center back for us sometimes. You know, just because it's required tactically if one of our guys went up, something like that. Agume is not at that level yet, so that's why I was saying like I had a tweet pretty much asking guys what they think. If they think he should stay at Stade Brest where he is right now, he's very comfortable in the environment, which is, in my opinion, that'll be very conductive to his development. Where you're comfortable, you play every match, you're one of the first names on the team sheet. That's very important. But then again, the League 1 and Serie A are very, very different tactically. The stuff that he gets away with in League 1, I don't think he would get away with in Serie A. So I would personally feel like if he can get a loan in a team like mid-table to lower level team that we know they're gonna start him, they're gonna play him every match, and he could learn the league, he could get used to it more or less, and work on his tactical deficiencies. I think that would be perfect. But everybody responded and told me that in Italy that's not gonna happen, and I'm sure that's probably what you're gonna tell me as well, Mikey. Right?
Yeah, I really like the point you had earlier where I mean if he's comfortable there, like that's much more conductive to you, flourishing, learning the game, getting better than it would be to try to, fight with a bunch of 35-year-olds in Italy in the midfield who are probably going to start over you just because of maturity and things
Yeah.
like that. So, and I mean, look, the guy's still only 20. Um, so you could even give him another year or two. I think that's kind of far fetched. A 3-year loan. I don't think you'd see anything like that. But I
Hmm.
think another season in the same spot with the same manager in the same team would be great for him. And then keep Satriano there too, because if this seems to be Brest seem to be a club that will play loanees, like they're building that rapport with Inter now, starting two of them
Hmm.
pretty regularly. So I feel like
Yeah.
that's more important than trying. I mean, he had a good season, decent season, I'll say. With Italiano at Spezia, I feel like he probably learned a lot of the game there, even though he wasn't starting. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, keep him at Brest another season. Let him continue to play. Then maybe try to get him alone in Serie A when he's pushing 21, 22 at that point. That's much closer to the age where managers in Italy will start to give you a shot. And I mean, if he keeps playing like this, he's going to be an attractive, loan signing for any of these lower, promotion teams, lower mid-table teams that need a little bit of spark from somewhere. But I think he just needs to continue to build that profile.
No, I agree. I mean, that's a very good point. He's only 20 years old, so it's not like it's a rush to make a decision about him right now. You know, maybe another person that tweeted that as well. I mean, I don't want to take credit for people's takes. Somebody said that we should align it with the contract we're gonna give Brozovic, which is perfect. I think that's a great take. Um, Pretty much, if we're gonna give Brozo a new contract, a 3-year contract or a 4-year contract, I'll say bring Agume into the squad 1 year before it expires, just so he could back up Brozo in that year, and then just pretty much take over. It would be like a smooth transition. Um, So yeah, that's a good idea as well. You could leave him in France, let him continue to shine, let him continue to get plaudits. His confidence is growing. He's starting to believe in himself, believe in his skills, because they're pretty much he's on every list every time, every week. I see they're making lists of young players. He's always in the list, so that's something that's good for a young player's confidence. That's good for his development. So let him continue to roll it in France, and then right before Brozovic is gonna be over, or his contract's gonna be over, we bring him in and see what we got, or if we're gonna need to buy a player to replace Brozovic.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd like to see him get a season at Inter with Brozovic. I mean,
Mhm.
of course, he had part of the season with Conte, but I would like to see, a season where he's really learning the trade on the job with Brozovic, getting that kind of mentorship. But that would still be,
Yeah,
of course, like years off at this point. But yeah, it's too early to really tell. But I mean, when you've got a guy who's playing at a high level and is that young, it doesn't matter where he is. That's a good sign for your club.
no, for sure, absolutely.
And there was another one I wanted to get to. Yeah, Benjamin saying no Ian today, so no love for Handanovic. You know what? I'll throw it back to the Salernitana match for this. He had a good match. I'm not gonna lie. He whatever it was, he took his meds, whatever it is for someone at that age.
Yeah,
He
the
was up
couple
for
of
that.
saves he had to make, he made them.
Yeah, he made the saves he needed to make. I think I said it. In the draw against Milan, or was it Milan? One of the draws recently, one of the nil-nils that I was like, well,
Uh,
if Handana, it was the Genoa match, I remember, but if he can, start keeping clean sheets, even if it's one save, two saves, that is a source of confidence. Like a
no,
goalkeeper
for
looks
sure.
at clean sheets the way that strikers look at goals. So once you start getting
Goals,
a
yeah.
few of those, that gives you confidence. That confidence is a base for then your defense gets some more confidence, and that just bleeds into the rest of the team. And then when you have both of your strikers scoring multiple goals in one match, like that is really that's a recipe to get your season back on track. And that will lead me into the title of the show today. Cinema Sins can take whatever off for this, but do you think this is getting back on track? Do you think? Well, I mean, there are two arguments really to this. I mean, you can say
Mhm.
you are expected to beat Salernitana, but to slap them 5-0, I mean, is still much better. Is that
No,
something
for
you
sure.
would say is conducive to getting back on track in Serie A?
No, yeah, absolutely. I think so. I think it is us getting back on track, especially the way we beat them. It's not like we went out there and we snuck 1-0. We beat them quite handily, and we beat them playing the style that we were successful playing in the beginning of the season, to a point where even the coaches had to come out and acknowledge that afterwards. So definitely it's getting back on track. It's seeing the problems that the squad had in the previous matches, working on it in the practice field, and seeing the results in a match. I think that's exactly what it was. Hopefully we do get it right again against Torino. Like the same way that we got it right against Salernitana. I hope we do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I just flipped over to the YouTube tab to see how bad I do look on stream right now. I am so sorry for everyone watching. I will do
Yeah,
better next time. I swear. I'll
yeah.
figure
You're
something
like
out.
you're like Super Nintendo graphics, bro.
Yeah, full Nintendo 64, full Minecraft, what have you right now. But yeah, I mean, this is something interesting. Nadim says that two Inter Primavera players, I'm not sure who they are, Valentin and Franco Carboni. I don't know if that's two brothers of the same last name or if
Mhm.
Valentin is, someone who goes by a first name, but made the
Uh,
preliminary squad for Argentina in the upcoming international window. I mean, I don't know anything about either guy, but that sounds good. Anytime you have guys showing up
yeah.
at that level. I mean, we've seen enough guys get to that level. Hopefully, a couple break through. Hopefully, those are names we hear
Mhm.
more about in the future.
No, for sure. I'm definitely gonna look it up afterwards. I like to know those kids and whoever our bright young kids are. I like to know them early so I could follow them. So yeah, thank you for the shout, and I'm definitely gonna go Google them afterwards after the episode.
Gonna find some comps real quick. But
Real
yeah,
quick.
I think that's about it. Dave asked why I'm not in my bedroom. I mean, I live in a studio apartment, so it's pretty much it's all my bedroom. Just not by the window right now. But I'll get your nice window view back. Hopefully, get some cat sightings back in the next episode. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, you gotta give the people what they want, Mikey.
Yeah. They don't come for me. They come for the cat and the coffee mugs. That's it. No, but yeah. Any parting wisdom you want to give us before we wrap it up?
Well, yeah, thank God we were able to get back into winning ways, in the way that we did it. I hope that the rest of our fan base feel as confident as I do feel. Hopefully, we go into Liverpool and give them our best shot. I'm not expecting us to be able to turn it around, but I want us to take it respectfully and hopefully get close to it. And that's something that I believe will give us will springboard us into the league where we could go and start beating teams, go on a run probably 4 or 5 matches in a row, and then get comfortable in the league. So yeah, we feel good, man. It's like I feel like we survived a bad moment where everything could be going up right now.
Yeah, we got through the whole month of February, which was a terrible month. Now March, spring's right around the corner. It's getting warmer outside. Days are getting longer. Inter are getting better, and yeah, things are looking up. Hopefully, we're back on here after
You
at
just you
least
just
one
painted the
win.
best picture.
Is that what?
You just painted the best picture.
Oh, what can I say? I have a way with words. No, but yeah, this was a good episode. Thanks, Dave, as always. Glad to have you on. Glad to have
Pleasure,
someone to
pleasure.
talk this madness with. Great chat as always today. Everyone really pitching in, pulling some weight because we're missing our guys.
Thanks,
Hopefully
guys.
we'll have 4 windows going on next week. And yeah, thanks everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.